Hi, everybody. We're back for another episode. This one, I think, is episode 6 of 9 and NUMB at Home. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good.
Good to be here.
Nice. Oh, we've got so much to talk about today. So let's just get right into it. We just had our last show. What was it called again? The Second Wave.
Second Wave, yes.
Second Wave Summer Jam. Boy, that was something else. Damn good turnout for that, too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what'd you guys think about it? How do you think we did?
Pretty well.
That was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was great.
Good suggestions, good audience feedback.
Yeah. A great audience feedback for that one. So it was a lot better than the first show we did. The first show was good. The first online show that we did was good. Live from Exile, I think that one was called. And that's on here on YouTube as well. Look that up in our playlist.
I've even had a couple of audience members discover the replay, and they try to comment like it's the live show still. They're really excited.
Oh, really?
And they want to, and they want to give us gets, but it's already pre-recorded. And so I had to tell this one sweet lady today, I was like, join us for our next show, and you can come and give us them live.
This was for Live from Exile?
No, this was from Summer Jam.
From Summer Jam from 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
Holy.
I was like, I love the enthusiasm. That makes me happy.
Need to run one of those disclaimer chyrons.
Shows already
previously
Lines
recorded.
Lines are closed.
I'll run it on there or something. God, that's funny. Well, we did our last episode was a reunion show with the fifth generation up in Grand Forks, North Dakota. These guys ran from 2014 to 2016. I think is what it was. And so we had a nice time talking with them. And of course, just before that, we had done the second generation, 9 and NUMB 2.0, as I call them, and had a nice talk with them. It's been a while since we've had the actual crew together for one of these. The current crew, that is. So let's just hang out. Let's talk. What's going on in your worlds today, guys?
Kids getting ready to go to college.
Kids getting ready to go to college?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's she going into?
She's going to go to college either here, Pennsylvania, or Alaska.
Oh.
Wow.
Those are her
does
choices.
Sarah want to go in Alaska?
Just to say she did it.
Just to say she went to Alaska?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
she's
very
your
specific,
daughter.
though.
Just saying.
Igloo you, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. She's going to be like a Northern Exposure, the Joel Fleischman on Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
But what is she get her one of those sunlight lamps?
Like Alaskan bush people. Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. Ice Road Truckers.
Yeah.
That's in Yukon, I think, though. Up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is in Alaska and Pennsylvania, and then here that is so specific that you would pick those three?
Well, Pennsylvania is her grandparents, her aunts and uncles.
Okay.
But Alaska, I don't know. She's going into theater tech. And
Alaska?
Oh, the Alaska, the tuition is lower than in Pennsylvania, and that appeals to her.
There you go.
Yeah.
I would think. Well, unless you want to buy a Whopper from a Burger King up there for $12.
Yeah.
That kind of balances it out.
Just make sure that she establishes residency as soon as possible so she can get the oil stipend.
Well, I thought you were going to say establishes dominance over the wildlife.
That too.
That's the first thing I'd do. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to be fighting wolves while doing my homework. All right, here we go.
I just got an image of her wrestling a polar bear, and it makes me happy.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Punch
she'll do
a
it.
polar bear in the face.
She'll take a moose by the antlers and just...
Whoa. Those are endangered species. There's no punching polar bears in the face.
Not
I
cool.
didn't say punch.
I say go ahead and punch a polar bear in the face, damn it, because you could lose that. And that evens the odds. Instead of just hunting them,
you could lose the fight?
You could lose the fight, and I think it's a fair fight then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you're just using your fists, all right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go mano-a-mano.
Yeah, I probably have money on the polar bear if you're just using your fists. Yeah.
I don't think the polar bear will see a punch coming. I think the polar bear would be like, dude, what the heck? You punched me?
Whoa, no. Yeah, we're not talking about sucker punching polar bears. Right?
Oh, no. I would. I could fight a polar bear, and I'll tell you why. I might have a good shot at it, because if I just take all my clothes off, I can't see the bear, it can't see me.
There you go.
Okay, I blend into the snow up there. I was built for that sort of shit.
Smart.
Now, once the fight starts, then all bets are off. For me, anyway, all bets are off. But I could sneak up on a polar bear, I bet. I smell like whale meat already.
If there's one word I think of when I think of you, Kelly, it's stealthy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm totally the great white ninja.
Under the radar. That's the first thing I think of.
Yeah. Yeah. You've never seen me stalk a big salami. You've never seen me stalk that at 2 o'clock in the morning, brother. I am quiet.
Not yet.
Dawn doesn't even know that I'm out there eating all the food in the fridge at 2 o'clock in the morning. She has no idea that it's happening. So until she hears me coming up the stairs again going, and then she's like, what were you doing? So anyway, well, we had a great show. We've got another one coming up here. This one is called 9 and NUMB After Dark. This was by request from our fans. They wanted an adult-centric show, and so we're going to do one.
Dirty bird.
That's on you, audience, for asking for that. So you don't know just what we're capable of here when it comes to that. We can drop F-bombs all over the place. Don't worry about it.
F-bombs, brown words, oh yeah.
Brown words, blue, whatever color you want to go with. Why not? We'll do it. Yeah, that was what we used to do a lot at the Attic Cafe in downtown Tampa on Kennedy before the damn coronavirus hit. That was our go-to. They closed down today for renovations, so maybe by the time we get back, you never know, it might be a different looking location, which I don't know when that'll be. It might be this year. What are you laughing about?
What Hooper's doing?
What's Hooper doing?
Scratching my back.
Oh, just scratching his back.
Yeah.
You know we're recording, right?
Yes. The itch don't care. The itch don't care.
Okay.
He's actually been splicing his DNA with polar bear DNA so that he can help Sarah get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna spar. I'm gonna spar with Sarah before she leaves.
Sarah. Yeah, so all that hair growing back there.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you guys this. Like I said, the next show is adults only. How do you think that one's gonna go?
It's gonna be special.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think we're gonna be able to pull this off without offending half of our viewers?
No.
No, you don't think we're gonna be able to pull that off?
How would that be different than normal?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're not doing half of the subject matter we normally do, but we will be in that one.
So we're going to offend the other half. Then.
Yeah, the other half, the ones that don't show up.
Usually offend the other half.
It's their turn.
I'm pretty
sure.
We're
gonna have to put lots of warnings on the video.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure the last live in-person show that we did that was adults only at the Attic, my brother went to, and I'm pretty sure I did a whole scene with Sarah about my vagina.
You did.
But you do that every week.
Yeah, it was a cave, and
Yeah. Great.
Yep.
I still don't know if we'll ever get the kind of reaction that I got over at Dreamhouse that one time.
For what?
When we did we were doing the sketch about Santa Claus, and I compared Santa Claus to God. Because, they're both fictional, and
I remember that.
Yeah, the audience was like, it was like 5 seconds of stunned silence, and then
yeah.
Read the room, Eric. Read the room.
Yeah.
Well, I was supposed to be a bad house guest, so
That's true. Yeah.
That was my character.
Very true. Very true.
It was for the character.
Oh God.
Well, we can't fall back on our physical comedy though, because we're kind of static in the Zoom medium.
Yeah,
so it's going to be interesting doing an adult show without.
Very disappointed that I can't do my normal physical comedy routine.
Yeah.
I thought of a really fun game.
Really?
So.
Okay, you heard it here first, people. Louisa's got a new game. Let's hear what this is. Maybe we'll do it.
Tell me if you like it. It's a guessing game.
Okay.
First of all, which I'm notoriously bad at, but it's a guessing game. And my idea came about from Angel. You commented on this video that I reposted on Facebook
Okay.
of people having a silent rave barbecue.
Yeah.
And so my idea was, okay, somebody, like, these people are like the ravers, and then the person who has to leave the room, the guesser, is the neighbor. So they have to leave the room, and you choose what genre of music the barbecuers are like raving to, and then they start to dance to that genre, and then when the neighbor, the guesser, comes in, they have to guess what genre they're dancing to.
So it's
It was like a silent.
So it's a silent scene.
Well, no, the only person talking is probably going to be the guesser, but like the other people can be like, "Oh, this is the best!" Like, can kind
It's
of
my
give
jam.
clues. Yeah.
Tell us in the comments below what you think of this idea. Okay, write down in the comments below what you think of our dancing, of Louisa's. I have to make that point. It's Louisa's idea. Louisa's silent dancing barbecue rave.
It's a silent rave barbecue.
Louisa just wants a chance to show off her Julia Louis-Dreyfus moves.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How do you know? How do you know?
I want to show off my grilling skills, so why not?
Yeah.
Right? What the hell? God. So, what do you guys think about this? For our next show, the adult show, are we going to try and do the talk?
Ooh.
No? Angel's shaking her head. She didn't want to do the talk. Why is that?
No. Because as much as we can say it's 18 plus and TV MA or whatever distinction, I still have children that will probably find it online.
Well, that's not our fault.
Yeah, but I don't want to,
I got the 18 plus all over this thing.
I get it.
So
I will be the kid in the talk, but I'm not doing the talk.
Okay. For those of you that aren't familiar with what that game is, that is without a doubt our dirtiest game 9 and NUMB has ever come up with. And if you've been watching these videos, you know that some of our past casts have got the distinction of being the most blue that have ever hit the stage. This is bluer. I can assure you of that.
It's navy blue.
Oh, boy, is this a blue game. Holy cow. This one is, I'll just describe it real quick, how this game goes. Is a bunch of us sitting around playing cards, and then one of the kids comes in and describes, using an adjective and a noun, what they were called at school today on the schoolyard. And then we, the rest of us that are the adults that are playing the card game, freeze solid, feign just shock at what just happened here, and then explain what that adjective and noun mean in terms of sexual positions. So, as you can imagine, that sucker gets blue. How did we come up with that game anyway? I can't remember.
It was just riffing amongst us before we started practice.
Right.
At practice.
Yeah.
Like, what is the running gopher?
I want to blame Jesse and James.
Yeah.
I thought it was pre-James. Was it not?
I don't think so, no. I think it was Jesse and James just, like, randomly saying words, combinations.
Yeah.
And Jesse
that's what I remember anyway. I don't know.
James would always want to start it. James would always want to play first.
Yeah.
He would always want to instigate, yeah.
James is not here. He wasn't in the last video either, I don't think. The reason for that is that the boy would rather play D&D than do this.
Where is James? Give us the truth, Kelly.
Exactly. He's playing fantasy role-playing games with his friends.
He's clericking.
Clericking. He's healing. He's healing everyone. I believe.
And honestly say I've never played D&D.
Really? Let's talk about that for a second. Why haven't you played D&D? What is wrong with the game?
Not a fan. Like, it's too complicated.
Too complicated?
I don't like, the more complicated a game is, the more I'm like, peace out.
You're just
so,
pretending
like,
to be someone else.
A huge gamer. I know. But, like, my husband's a huge gamer, and he has, like, a closet full of games that I will never play. Well, and so we have people that, like, come over just to entertain him. Like, there's a couple of guys that will come over, like, once a month and just play with Andrew with these, like, ridiculously complicated games all day because I won't touch them. Like, I won't. Yeah. If I don't know.
D&D is such a simple game, though. All you have to do is you roll some dice to attack somebody, and then most of the time, all you're doing is pretending to be your character that you've created on your own on a piece of paper.
Yeah, but you gotta but there's paper, and you gotta write down stuff and keep track. No.
Welcome to being a producer of an improv show.
No, dude. No.
I played it twice in my life.
Twice.
Once when I was in my early 20s in college, and then again when I was in my mid-40s with a bunch of friends. Both times, everyone at the table, we were all good friends, and they explained it to me, tried to make it as easy as possible. And both times, I was bored out of my skull.
Seriously?
Seriously, yeah.
Now, I started when I was about 7th grade or so. I started playing this game. And I've said this before in other places, but I'll say it again this time. I am certain that I would not have gotten into improv if I hadn't started with Dungeons and Dragons.
Is that right?
Yeah. Because it is improv the whole time. You're just talking.
Basically what it is.
Yeah. And
you
I started
pick a character and you role play it.
Yeah.
Hence the role playing.
That's exactly it. And go
ahead.
I
think I was so ADHD that when it wasn't my turn, I was just
I could see that. I could see that being an issue. You have to. You really. It does take a certain amount of focus to see to completion. I got my first set in 1980 or 81.
Oh, so this is first edition.
Yeah, it was the original red box.
Wow.
Did you play with Gary Gygax?
Before I was born.
Did you play with Gary Gygax?
Yeah. Go to Wisconsin.
I wish, man.
For those of you who don't know, Gary Gygax is the guy that invented D&D.
Yeah, that I know.
Yeah. It actually, interestingly, it came off of a miniatures game called Chainmail. Was the original. It was an offshoot of that. It was a medieval miniatures game.
Right.
That you had your little figures, and it was like what they now call a skirmish level miniatures game. I don't know that term existed back then, but basically each figure represents one person, and they fought. So he had a bunch of rules for that, and he took that, and instead of it being in a historical setting and just focusing on the combat only, it sort of shot off into a fantasy universe and made it more acting, role-playing-y. But yeah, I remember having the red box, the basic set.
Wow.
And then the expert set, which came in a blue box. After that, with one adventure called the Isle of Dread.
I actually own that.
Yeah.
I own that. It's sitting over in a box somewhere.
And then, and so I was, I was 9, I think, when I got it. So 1980, I guess, probably.
Wow.
And then
anything with more than 2 dice and dice with more than 6 sides, I'm like, peace out, I'm out. No.
So you're a Yahtzee girl.
Yahtzee Monopoly, that's it.
Yahtzee Monopoly. See, I got into it when it was 2nd edition. By the time AD&D came around,
right,
89.
what they called AD&D, where you had all the different books. They were hardbound books.
Yeah.
You had the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual, the Fiend Folio.
That's where I ended up, and that's where I stalled because they started getting into like the 3rd edition or D20, all this other shit. I never got into that stuff. I stopped somewhere around 1997 or 8. I stopped playing, and I stuck with 2nd edition there. And there was a realm that was called Ravenloft, and it was all like gothic horror and shit. That was my jam. That was the dungeon master.
Yeah, there's lots of vampires and stuff in that.
Yeah, I own almost all. Every year at Christmas, Dawn gets me another pristine copy of a module or something from that era that she found God knows where.
Yeah.
And so I just stack them away and keep them listed. I have doubles and triples of some of them, thinking someday I'm actually going to get back into this damn thing. But it was playing D&D in those days was something that you hid from everybody. So there was a whole group of us that played together that you would never have guessed we were the D&D type ever. And so we hid that from everybody until we got to college. And then one time this group of us were playing in college at my fraternity. And we were like doing this in secret. We were like, okay, nobody can know that we're playing D&D in the room here, okay? Just be cool. Nobody has to know. We'll just keep the door shut. Everything's fine, right?
We'll spray some stuff around, pretend we're smoking weed.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we're sitting there, because we used to do overnight sessions. I mean, we would do this shit from like 6 o'clock at night until like 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, we were doing this all night. And during the course of the night, the door to the room opened up, because it's a fraternity. Who knocks, right? Open right in, and they're all just staring at us. We're like, oh, like we got caught doing something horrible. We're all like, oh no, And then it turns out most of the dudes in the fraternity gamed.
Yeah.
And so
it was more widespread than a lot of people thought, I think. Yeah. I mean, obviously, the game lasted for so long. I mean, somebody had to have been buying the stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
it came out before I was born, but yeah.
Now, do you remember the big social trend that happened in the late 80s, early 90s, where there was this sort of demonization of Dungeons and Dragons in the media and in the especially in the more conservative religious
and Tipper Gore.
Yeah. Well, Tipper Gore wasn't so much into the D&D. She had her other problems.
Music,
but there were a lot.
PMRC, but yeah.
Yeah, but this was like specific to role playing games that
really
it was basically a gateway to demon worship.
Yeah.
And ritual satanic and there was there were serious like half-hour PSA type warning programs that they would air about the dangers of D&D.
There was a whole 2-hour made-for-TV movie starring Tom Hanks.
Yes,
because there's a book called Mazes and Monsters, which was a riff on Dungeons and Dragons. Tom Hanks was one of these kids who really was socially awkward. He didn't fit in, but he fit in with the D&Ders. However, they would take the game into caves and into the woods.
Right. Well, they were kind of live action players.
Yeah,
they played
LARPs.
Live action. Yeah.
Like LARPs, yeah. And the Tom Hanks character ends up losing his mind. Playing the game,
killing people or something.
Yeah, and he spends the rest of his days at home thinking that his parents are the kindly innkeeper and his wife, and they feed me and take care of me, and he's in his own little D&D world. It was Tom friggin' Hanks.
Is that why he fled to Greece?
Yeah, but so my question is though, are there any games that like exist on the fringes now in 2020 that people are kind of ashamed to say that they play?
Probably Animal Crossing.
That's an interesting question. The atmosphere is different now, I think, with gaming.
I think the internet, too, because you can find a niche for everything.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And I mean everything.
Everything.
People are more, like, proud of being, like, what were, like, used to be called, like, nerds or, like, dorks.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People are more proud of that. They're like, cool, like, nerd shit.
The Reagan years were kind of all about conformity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
The gray flannel suit, and everybody's
yeah.
Neon leg warmers,
It's all very
I wore a lot of neon in elementary school. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's all very drive me crazy, very Melissa Joan Hart, fitting in with the cool kids type stuff.
Those 90s though.
Yeah, those 90s though. I never was
early
into
2000s, I would say, right?
She's older than me, so I don't
90s.
know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah, that was the 90s. That was Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Clarissa explains it all.
Clarissa explains it all.
Clarissa, that's right.
Yeah.
So Louisa, have you ever played any D&D at all, or?
No, I was just saying, like, I never got into any, like, nerd shit growing up.
Really?
Like, I didn't.
You're a theater kid, though. That's your nerd shit right there.
Yeah, like, I just didn't, I don't know.
Me
like,
neither.
I don't know, my brothers were, like, cool, I guess. I never was introduced to anything. I didn't understand anything about Marvel or, like, X-Men until college. Like, I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't exposed to, like, any of that stuff. So
I hit it. I hit it all when I was in high school and junior high.
See, yeah, I don't.
Because that's what people are like. into, and I'm like, I don't know what Pokemon. Like, I know what it is, but I don't get it.
See, when I was a kid in high school, being a Marvel fan was like being a Cleveland Indians fan when I was a kid, which was, don't tell anyone that.
Don't talk about it.
Marvel was not really well known. I mean, it was well known, but it was on its way out the door when I was in junior high and high school, because Spider-Man was just about the only damn thing you could talk about with Marvel without everybody going, oh, God.
Was it the 90s?
They went
The
bankrupt
90s?
that
Didn't
decade.
X-Men have the cartoons in the 80s and 90s?
That's probably why everybody was like, ugh.
Yeah,
You know?
the 90s were the worst decade ever for comics.
Mm-hmm.
Just horrible. Just horrible.
I know all about that. Believe me, the 90s for this particular fellow were a goddamn wreck.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Come on, George Clooney as Batman? Shut up. Wrong. Or
I
Val
was going to
Kilmer.
say Batman
wrong.
was kind of the only mainstream comic book hero for a time.
No,
like
Superman.
that had movies and
Mhm.
Superman, Batman.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but in the
I actually
90s, though, Superman was all but no longer seen except for, what the hell was the name of that show on ABC? It was Lois and Clark.
Lois
Yeah.
and
And that
Clark,
was
yeah.
I loved that show. I had such a crush on Dean Cain when I was in high school. It was ridiculous.
It
Redonkulous.
was a terrible Superman, I thought,
I liked it. It was real kitschy.
in my opinion. But then wasn't there a Superboy at
There
some
was a
point? Was that
Superboy.
late 80s or early 90s? I can't remember. A live-action
Yes,
Superboy.
yes. It was late 80s, early 90s, and they used to shoot in Orlando.
Really? Oh, wait, I
Really
knew that.
true.
I've seen the plaque on one
Yeah.
of the studios at Universal there. That's right. They did used to shoot that there.
No,
And a couple of the early episodes and the outside shots, you can see plain as day the Disney monorail track.
Holy shit.
And a couple of the shots, yeah. And lots of local actors got work there.
Really?
One of my old directors had a small part as a Sally Jesse Raphael type who ends up summoning
Wow.
Bizarro on her show.
nice.
And Bizarro literally crashes the show. Yeah. Michael
I'll
J.
be
Pollard played Mr. Mixias-Pidlick. He was a perfect Mr.
Really?
Mixias-Pidlick. Yeah.
Oh,
Michael J.
Pixel
Pollard.
Slipple Skim. Now you had the late 70s. You had a sort of bevy of live action superhero things. You had Wonder Woman, obviously, with Linda Carter.
Mhm.
You had the Hulk with Lou Ferrigno.
The old Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man TV show.
And there you had Shazam,
Oh, yeah.
which was Captain Marvel, Shazam.
Yes.
And then right after him was Isis,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
comic book character Isis. That show was on right after that. So you had
I
all
never
those. And then, of
watched
course, the greatest American hero
Well, yeah.
in the 80s.
I caught up with the old Shazam series when I had DC Direct for a while.
Oh.
The cable or the internet subscription service. You could
The
watch
DC
the old
Disney Plus.
Yeah, the DC Disney Plus, Warner Brothers. I caught up with some of those episodes, and oh my God, they were terrible.
Yeah.
But I caught them anyways because I was like, I had this like slight memory of the show, but I don't know why. It must have been in syndication or something because most of those came out 1974 or something.
Oh yeah. They aired on Saturday mornings in the mid to late 70s.
I recall them being like maybe 77, 78, something like that when I was about 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
See, I grew up with Gem and Cartoon Train.
Cartoon
Yeah.
The
Train?
80s. I mean,
they had a USA Cartoon Train, and they would play all
Express.
the Hanna-Barbera,
yeah.
all the old Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Well, Saturday morning because we don't have like network TV, and I mean, you have it, but nobody, pays attention. Back then you had the 3 networks, 4 once Fox came along, but Saturday morning cartoons was what you did when you were a kid. You sat and ate your cereal and you watched the Saturday morning cartoons.
Or you did what I did and got in trouble for it. I set up a space heater in the living room and tried to make toast on it.
Oh my God. It still was when I was a kid. It was still like that.
Mhm.
I was
Really?
like the very last. Yeah, it was like I was pretty much the very last, like maybe 2 years after me, if that, but like literally the last generation of kids that like did that kind of stuff. Like
It's like Nickelodeon though.
No, we had we had Nickelodeon, but we had one Saturday morning. It was on ABC,
Yep.
and
Oh.
you would start with like Recess, and then it was
Yeah.
The Weekenders,
Pepper Ann.
Doug, as
Right.
told by Ginger. That was lit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used
None
to
of
like
those-
Pepper Ann.
And
She
then
was
they
none of those.
started
Dirty
incorporating
enough.
like SpongeBob and stuff.
See, for me, it was He-Man and
He-Man,
Transformers.
You had He-Man, Transformers,
G.I. Joe,
Voltron.
I used to run
Voltron.
around my house pretending I was She-Ra.
Oh,
Have you seen the new version of that on
Our
Netflix?
kids
Yeah, I
have.
like it. It's really interesting.
Is
my
it?
kids have. Sarah likes it.
It's-
Lily likes it. Yeah.
Never
The
seen
art
it.
style's softer than the original.
Well,
And so there's
most animation today is softer because it's just because it's computer generated, and so
right.
they don't want the brush strokes to
Uh-huh.
actually show up in HD anymore. So it doesn't.
There's a
look
lot
right.
more backstory to the new She-Ra.
Really?
Like she's raised on the bad side, and then she realizes that she's
Yeah.
like the She-Ra. Yeah,
That was her backstory when I was a kid too. She was raised
Oh,
in
okay.
Kodak.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they explore that more.
Really?
Yeah, and there's Glimmer. I don't know if Glimmer was a character.
Who fucks Glimmer? I don't know. Who
It's
No.
a big, it's like the princess of the. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, no.
I have no
You
memory.
remember
of that.
Thundercats?
Hell yes.
Thundercats.
Hell yes.
Oh,
See, I was all
Absolutely.
Captain
give me
Planet.
sight beyond sight.
Oh yeah, I had the Lion-O figure, but I never got it to work because my parents didn't get me a AAA battery to put in his back, so the damn thing would glow. So I never saw what it looked like when it was in its full glory. That's for my mom and dad. Damn it! Why didn't you just give me a AAA battery?
Started to sound like an Eddie Murphy
wanted
skit with you know,
Malibu
your
Barbie.
parents were so poor you didn't have a AAA battery for your Lion-O.
Put it up
See,
to the
I
sun. You
just
can see
would
his
run
eyes.
around. I would run around going, "It's showtime, Synergy," and I wanted to be Jem.
Damn.
Yeah,
Who-
they got me ballet. They got me Malibu Barbie. I wanted Malibu Barbie. Whatever it was. No, she's like,
Yeah.
I was a ballerina.
Dawn and I were walking through Walmart the other day, and she saw that Barbie has this RV, and she said that she had that when she was a kid. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, but it's
I had a dream
enormous. This
house.
thing's so big.
I had a soda
Dream-
shop. I had a dream house. I had a little van. And the thing is like I never asked for any of it. My sister loved Barbie. Like she's 13 years older than me, and she loved Barbie. And so my sister would get me all this Barbie stuff, and then she would come over and play with it with me.
Well, there
That's
you go.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I used to like cars, and like I like Matchbox cars, and I like dump trucks, and but my sister was like, she needs Barbie.
See, when
That's
I was a
gonna
kid,
be
go ahead,
making
Louisa.
kids watch the Disney classics, like Sleeping Beauty. Like this shit rocks. Like
In the 50s.
they're gonna be like, we don't want to watch this.
Now, when I was a kid, the one thing that a kid in the neighborhood could have, a play set, that would bring all of us out was the Star Wars Return of the Jedi Dagobah set.
Ooh.
I didn't own that. I knew a kid that did, and that was the big one for all of us. It was like, holy crap, he's got the Dagobah set, because it had the swamp that you would sink in. It was
Yeah.
made of foam
It would-
rubber with
foam
slices
rubber,
in
yeah.
it. So you'd
Yeah.
bring your character down.
Have you
into it and
guys
stuff.
seen the show Lego Masters
Yeah.
No.
on Fox? They
Yeah.
do a whole episode that's all Star Wars themed, and
Oh,
they
really?
have to recreate battles in the Star Wars universe.
Mhm.
And so they're like, and so there's like one's the Battle of Endor, and then it was the AT-AT walkers,
Mhm.
and there was one
wow.
other one I forget, but like they had to recreate the whole scene in this like giant Lego, and they get about 8 or 12 hours
of Lego.
in the medium of
Medium.
Lego.
Yes.
And it's Will Arnett is the host.
Really?
And he has no idea what he's doing, and he's all like Will Arnett-y about it. And so it's very, very funny.
He does the Lego Batman voice a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Yeah, yeah.
Have you watched it, Hoop?
Yeah, I've watched it a couple of times. Yeah,
It's fun.
me
I like
and
it.
the kids.
It's
Yeah,
on
it's fun.
Hulu. The first season's on Hulu.
Oh,
I remember Christmas morning, 1985. I got a call on the phone from a friend of ours, a friend of my brother and I. And on the other end, he had got for Christmas that morning, he got the kit from Knight Rider. I could talk.
Yep. I remember
And so he
that.
pressed the license plate, put it up against
Yep.
the phone so we could listen to Kit talk. We're like, oh my God,
I can't watch Knight Rider without picturing Mr. Feeney. I can't do it.
Oh, really? See, to me, he was always the Knight 2000.
It was always, to me, like, I've watched Knight Rider. I watched it when I was a kid, but he is Mr. Feeney to me.
Mr. Feeney.
Feeney!
No,
I'm rewatching Boy Meets World on Disney Plus right now.
Oh yeah.
Love.
Yes, I have
Cool.
watched the whole thing probably 128 times, but I'm
Wow.
I don't care.
That's
They hold
hilarious.
up pretty well. Like, there's some shows that don't hold up. Like Boy Meets World, it's okay.
Yes,
It holds up
my
pretty
show.
well.
It is my show.
Yeah. They tried to do a sequel on Disney.
Girl Meets World.
Yeah, and it wasn't as good, so I would watch it because Disney was doing it instead of ABC, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The whole show just wasn't quite the same.
Yeah.
But the kids love Boy Meets World. Yeah.
It is the best show ever. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, so good.
See, I was used to Wonder Years. His older brother was in that show.
Yeah.
Wonder Years. They're remaking that.
Winnie Cooper.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
They're remaking Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Which I think is bizarre.
When I was in high school, we had another pandemic, swine flu. I got it. I was at home for a really long time, and I binge watched the Wonder Years.
What? You had swine flu?
Yeah, I
That
almost died.
explains so much.
What?
Tell me more about swine flu.
How did you contract swine flu?
I don't know. It was just out
It's
about.
H1N1. It's actually a coronavirus. It's
Yeah.
I
Wow.
just got it like you get sick and
Yeah.
figured out what it was, and it was swine flu, and I actually had that and pneumonia.
Oh no.
And like
pneumonia may have been a result of the swine flu.
Yeah, it was
It's
like
usually
I had
just
some issues.
fluid in your lung for some reason.
Yeah, and I was like, I like almost died. Like, I'm serious. It was really bad.
It's a pretty serious disease.
Yeah, it was bad, and I weighed like 90 pounds at the time, so it was serious.
Good heavens.
Yeah.
But you were 6'4", and then it just shrunk you down. It was just terrible.
Right.
No, and I watched the Wonder Years during that.
And then you watched the Wonder Years during the swine flu pandemic.
Yeah.
God.
And now this is happening, and I'm watching Boy Meets World.
So
speaking of cool shows, Hoop, do you remember? I address it to you because I think you're the only one who'd be old enough to remember this.
Probably.
Do you remember Star Blazers?
I remember.
It had to have been one of the first Japanese animations that made the jump to the U.S. It was like the late 70s, maybe early 80s. It was
the Starship Yamamoto.
Yes, it was this battleship, like an actual
battleship in space.
The Yamamoto that flew through space.
Yeah.
But it had some of the best storylines. Like it was really good, and it was Battle of the Planets. What was also called G-Force came right after that. So it was like those were the two I remember that were like the Japanimation imports, and you could tell it was all dubbed in English.
Right.
You know, watching it. But I loved Star Blazers when I was like 10.
Everything was Filmation when I was a kid. That was the company that ran everything. Was Filmation.
Wow.
That was with He-Man, Masters of the Universe, and all that shit was all
Bad
Filmation.
Wait, remember what was it? DIC.
Yeah.
That was that ran a lot of the stuff.
That was
in
a
the
production
80s.
company, I think.
The thing about Filmation though was that they did this a lot. Wait. Hey, you guys, come over here.
Yeah.
All their actors were in the foreground, and you just saw like 3/4 of their face.
Right.
And Fat Albert, Star Trek, all of them. Very limited animation. Yeah, shoestring budget.
Or just the mouth would move like Hanna-Barbera style.
Yeah.
You're like Clutch Cargo.
So Eric, you've got some news stories for us to talk about today. What do you say we?
Sure. Let's see what we got here. I was just kind of going through looking at some weird or news of the weird kind of stuff.
It's riff
let's see what we got here.
Doing Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Got Parents turn to Craigslist after son forgets location of parking garage.
What?
What?
What the
He lost his car.
Apparently, a family found out you can use Craigslist to find your misplaced car. Their
How?
19-year-old son returned home from a concert in a cab and told them he didn't remember where he had parked the car.
You dumbass.
They posted an ad on Craigslist looking for information on its whereabouts.
They were high.
And
They were high. Oh, yeah.
received a tip immediately
No
and
doubt.
were able to retrieve.
The
I was
sun
like, don't
Savvy.
most cars have, like, if it's different, if it's a newer car, doesn't it have some sort of internal GPS?
Yeah, mine does.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I've owned cars older than that, and so it might have been one of those. But how the hell do you, I mean, seriously, were you walking around outside of the concert and just stopped and went, well, that's it, I'm going to get a taxi. I can't. Like, what?
Well, I
He's
mean,
being responsible.
if you're drunk enough, it seems like a good idea.
Exactly.
What was
He
the
was
concert?
messed up, and the parents were
It
messed up.
doesn't say. It simply says a
Fish.
concert.
Fish.
I'm going to
Yeah.
go out on a limb and say it was fucking Insane Clown Posse or something, because the only idiots would forget that where the hell their car are ICP fans. Those
Who's
people are
going to
Another loser.
concerts during the coronavirus?
It was Dave Matthews Band. That's the band.
I
DMB.
hate Dave Matthews. Oh,
I found
hate it.
cars after
I
DMB.
can't hate it.
I found
How
my
do you
car
like
just
Boy Meets
fine.
World and hate DMB? You're
I
crazy.
hate it. I hate it.
How can you
Every
hate
time it
Dave
comes
Matthews?
on, oh yeah. I
Why?
make Andrew turn it. It's like the whitest white people music ever. I hate it.
It is.
Coming from the
It's boring.
ginger. Are you
I
kidding?
know. I hate it. I all his songs sound the same. It's not interesting.
Yeah,
I,
that's
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it irks
I
me.
love
Like
Dave.
I want to retch every time I hear Dave
Dude,
Matthews.
Dave is my college soundtrack. Is
Ugh.
Dave Matthews, man?
I'm sorry.
Under the Table and Dreaming? I mean, come on.
Whoa.
No.
Angel, you do understand that he has been universally acclaimed as the funkiest white man on the planet.
Mm.
No, I don't buy it. I hate it.
He's the funkiest white man on the
I
planet.
hate it.
How dare you?
Wait,
How dare
How
you?
did he beat you out, Kelly?
What?
It was like all the prep kids in high school were like, Dave Matthews, yeah. And I'm like, really? Like, I'm just looking
So
at
what?
him going, ugh.
How did he beat you out for the funkiest white dude?
Yeah,
Kelly?
yeah. Do you know that my Rocky Horror Cast calls me White CeeLo Green?
Oh
It's-
my god.
Yeah.
And I
Calls me
just call
White
you
CeeLo
Puma.
Green because I have tiny hands and I'm bald. So they call me White CeeLo Green. And I'm like, fuck
F
you. Yeah. So, but how could you, I don't know how in the hell you could possibly have that much anger towards
Yeah.
jam music.
Yeah.
No.
DMB.
It's so milquetoast uninteresting.
It's
awful.
great music. Oh my
Oh,
God.
it's awful.
Wait. I have a question for Angel. Pearl
Yeah.
Jam?
I hate it.
Ah!
Hate Pearl Jam. Hate Dave.
All right,
Can't
what do you
it.
like? What do you like? Say
Um,
Backstreet Boys, I fucking dare you.
No. In like, give me a year. Like in the '90s, I was listening to like
Say Annie
TLC. I listened to a lot of R&B in the '90s.
Yeah,
So
but,
like,
like-
huh?
Isn't that what Dave Matthews is?
No.
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 Not quite.
No.
Well, it's,
Not quite.
it's jazz.
It's not.
It's jam
jazz.
music, man. It's
Well,
festival.
Yeah, but it's
It's drunk people music, and you're so drunk when you listen to it, you think it's good.
So how do you feel about what the hell's his name? Jimmy Buffett.
It's okay.
What?
That music is whiter than Dave Matthews.
Oh, I know. It's not good. It's kitschy as all hell, but it's
That okay.
Like,
but
I think
music can be
I think
kitschy
Jimmy
and good at the
Buffett.
same time.
I think the Jimmy Buffett, like, it's so kitschy, it's self-aware. Dave Matthews, like, legit thinks he's good.
He is good.
He's not.
He as a musician, he's actually incredibly talented.
yeah.
Now you can have personal opinions about whether you like the
With me.
music or not, but like objectively as a musician.
Yeah,
mean,
I will die on this hill. I will
Damn
die
right.
on this hill.
I'll be right next to you with a Gatling gun. Game is good music, damn it.
Unpopular opinions by Angel. That should be a whole
Oh,
series.
my God.
Guys, I got a hot take.
Go.
I effing hate. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on this one. I know
Fucking
I
what?
will. Okay. I fucking hate Dirty Dancing. It's an unpopular
movie?
opinion. I think it
Fair
is
enough.
smart, and I hate it.
It ain't great.
Oh, the script's terrible. I love the music. The script's awful.
It's just smut, okay? And if
I don't know about that, but
it is the 50 Shades of Grey of your old generation. I don't know, my parents' generation, somebody's generation.
Not mine.
It took me until I was in high school. Like, I used to watch it all the time as a kid. It took me till I was in high school to realize, like, what the plot actually was. And I was about 15 and went, oh. Yeah, that's why she was.
I was watching it with my mother, and I was like, this is smut, mother.
it's in the title. It's called Dirty Dancing.
The whole abortion thing went over my head till I was about 15.
Wow.
I'm not even that familiar with the movie, truth be
I
told.
have no problem with smut that calls itself smut. But it's like it has no plot. It just is like, hey, sex is the whole plot of the movie. But it's not porn.
It was meant to be a dance movie.
Oh.
No, it isn't though. Okay, even Saturday Night Fever? Oh my God.
It was a vehicle for Patrick Swayze. And just kind of drag Jennifer Grey along.
Yeah, I'll tell you about what kind of vehicle it was.
Roadhouse was a better vehicle for him.
Roadhouse.
Again, I thought
but you get some prime Patrick Swayze ass in Dirty Dancing. I'm just saying.
The only takeaway I have now from Dirty Dancing is I saw it when it came out. You know, I thought it was okay. Wasn't too terribly impressed. Blah blah blah. But years later, watching it on TV with my ex-wife and my sister-in-law, my ex-sister-in-law used to, or still does, runs a dance studio in Pennsylvania. And there's that scene in the beginning of the movie where Patrick Swayze goes, after all the customers left and we were on our own time, we danced our way. And my ex-sister-in-law said, you know what? I work in a dance studio. If you've been teaching dance all day long, the last thing you want to do is dance.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a valid viewpoint, yeah.
Turn anything into a job, and
this year's final dance.
So, Louisa, you think Dirty Dancing is smut?
I do.
What do you think of the lambada?
It's
the forbidden dance.
It's the forbidden dance.
Yeah.
The actual dance?
You don't know what the lambada is?
No.
Look it up, but make sure you're in a dark room.
Yeah.
The tango and the lambada, man. Woo.
It's not that big a deal. Okay, it's not that big. Just like Dirty Dancing is just not that big a deal.
Okay.
Clearly, you didn't grow up with the Playboy Channel or something.
It wasn't going to sweep the nation like they thought it was going to.
Yeah, it was.
Early 90s.
It was a flash in the pan wannabe social movement.
Right.
Christ, the Macarena was a bigger deal.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Saturday Night Fever. Also, I thought that was going to be something I ought to see. A lot of rape in that one. I thought I was missing out on something, and I was like, this is a film about rape. Several.
Oh, you should have seen it when it was rated R.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Did you ever see
I didn't know they did a new cut of it.
Did you see the sequel to that
It started off rated R. Then they cut it to a PG rating.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's like watching the sequel to Grease. Why would you ever?
There was a sequel to Saturday Night Fever. It was called Staying Alive.
That's
Staying
right.
Alive, yeah.
And it had
wait, is that the one with is that the one where he goes and becomes a Broadway dancer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it had
the girl
Jamie
from
Lee
General
Curtis.
Hospital in it.
Jamie Lee Curtis was in that.
No, you're thinking of the one about the gyms.
Oh, was that a different one?
Yeah, Perfect.
That was the one.
With the gyms, yeah.
Now that's smut.
Yes.
That movie's smut. Watching Jamie Lee Curtis try to run a jazzercise class, that's smut.
It was no Bolero with Bo Derek or anything.
Don't even get me started on fucking Bolero, because we had to play that damn song during, oh God, If any of my Sigma Chi brothers are watching this, they know what I'm talking about. So, 24 hours a day.
Wow.
Never mind.
How about Romeo and Juliet, that like film version from the 80s?
Zeffirelli version.
Yeah,
You're
the
talking about the
Franco
one from the
Zeffirelli.
60s?
In
That's
school,
smut.
that was smut too. And
Also
I told
smut.
What's the okay?
That's largely considered one of the best film productions of Romeo and Juliet ever.
Okay, but how are you going to show a bunch of 14-year-olds who are like hormonal?
Well, they were 16, but yeah.
Charged up. No, but
2
I mean,
words, Franco Zeffirelli.
Yep.
You can show, you know what I mean?
But no,
The people you're showing it to us in school.
Europeans.
The 14-year-olds that are like, oh yeah, just kill yourself for the first guy that you meet when you're 15.
Well,
Who's not
take
your
it up with
cousin.
Shakespeare then.
It's Shakespeare.
So I have a question.
There's better Shakespearean plays. Like,
No, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree with that.
there are.
As a drama teacher, they start in our county. They start the 6th graders with Taming of the Shrew. I kid you not, in language arts, and it is gender issues. The play. It's problematic. But yeah. Anyway, no, I have a question. Like, what is the worst movie that you guys have ever seen that you like are compelled to watch over and over and over? Like, what's your guilty pleasure worst movie? Even for when you were a kid or like now?
What's that really weird movie? I think it's called The Dreamers or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
About that, yeah.
On TV like late one night, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
What is that?
That is what's her name? Who's Tim Burton's girlfriend? She's French. She was in Penny Dreadful.
3 Names.
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yes.
No, not her.
That's his wife.
That's who I was thinking of. Isn't that his?
Came after her. She was in Penny Dreadful, and Eva Green.
Oh,
Eva Green. Eva Green. Yes.
Never seen that one then.
One word for Eva Green. Hirsute. In The Dreamer, she is hirsute.
Come on, man. I have to reserve this for James most of the time, but come on, man.
That's one
Good
of James's.
I think she wears a merkin in that film.
Oh my!
Oh no!
Here we go.
And that's not smutty?
We have, and that's not smutty.
I remember having to explain to a guy when I was in law school what a merkin was.
Yeah, explain it now, right?
How does that just show up in conversation at law school?
Yeah.
There was it was in a case.
Yeah.
It was an old English case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, some of the cases in law school are
Share with us.
ridiculous.
Share with us.
I was
God.
hell. That's where I learned George Carlin's 7 Dirty Words like monologue basically from my case book. It was in a footnote of the Pacifica case, which is a seminal broadcast case.
Cool.
But yeah.
Wow.
It's like a First Amendment one, or
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was actually it was First Amendment, but it was also sort of a technical regulatory case. But it established the idea of safe harbors between midnight and 6 a.m. for indecent speech as opposed to obscene speech.
Right.
Wow.
There is a difference.
Well,
And also that broadcast is just different because it permeates. You don't invite it in your house or car. It permeates your house and car because it's waves that come through, and all you have to do is turn a dial. And they were differentiating it from cable, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, okay.
You have to take an affirmative step to get cable. And
now that we know how vanilla Louisa is, let's move on to another topic that Eric has, and we'll riff off of that here.
Here's one that actually sounds like, well, first of all, it sounds like it could have been a case in law school, but it could be a skit that we do in one of our skits.
Okay.
So here's the headline. Meatball sandwich horseplay leads to 2 deaths, family betrayal, and 2 trials.
Holy shit!
Damn.
That's how you Subway. That's how you Subway. I want to see death. I want to see mayhem. I want to see familial problems. That's how you Subway. What is the story behind this?
Unfortunately, I don't have the full article. It's like a headline, but I have a little bit. It says, let's see, family betrayal, patience, and a glob of spit all led to this guy being tried for murder Thursday, and his son ready to testify against him.
I saw the headline.
2 weeks before, Davis and Brian were fooling around with this guy's 16-year-old son. The horseplay got out of control, and an angry Austin hit Gilbert in the head with a meatball sandwich. Gilbert, now angry, shot and killed Austin.
Whoa! How mad you gotta be after getting hit with a meatball sub, brother? That can't hurt.
That's not even self-defense.
Well, it depends on where you got your sub, I guess.
Right?
Yes.
How big the meatballs were.
It's a really bad sub place. Their meatballs are like rocks, I guess.
It depends on the bread quality. How long has it been sitting out? Wow.
Can you imagine that? I mean, I gotta see this series of events. You're just playing around, doing some wrestling maybe, and all of a sudden somebody whips out a meatball sub.
Yeah, they're horseplay
smacks you
for the
with
meatball
it,
sandwich.
and then the motherfucker comes up with a gun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, did you come
One
to this
of these
armed?
things
I mean,
is not like the other.
well, even then, you could have stopped at Meatball Sub and still sang that song. Because, I mean, who just whips out a sub and goes, you know what? No! You know?
Wait, did you guys ever see that episode of The Office where he's gonna like kneecap him or something, and he has like the tire iron in the sub, and he's like
You're gonna hate me again.
Oscar?
You're gonna hate me again. I hate The Office. I won't watch it.
Well, I've never seen the show.
The British or the American?
Either one.
Yeah.
I've watched about half an episode of each, and I'm like, ugh, boring.
Louisa's outraged. Look at her. She's like, what?
I know.
She's checking on you to make sure you're okay.
I fucking beg your pardon.
So, like,
it's not funny. I don't think Steve Carell is funny at all.
What?
Okay.
Did you only watch the first season? Is that why?
What is with you?
I won't watch it. It's boring. It's boring as hell to me. Like, I fall asleep. I can't do it.
What is your damage?
Oh, yeah.
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Chance.
Wow.
Who hurt you, Angel?
I don't think Adam Sandler's funny. I don't think Steve Carell's funny. I don't think Jim Carrey's funny at all. I think Jim Carrey's a good dramatic actor. I hate his comedy. I hate it.
I actually agree with you. I've never found Jim Carrey to be particularly funny, but he actually is a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler, I liked some of his stuff from Saturday Night Live. I don't think I liked any of his movies. Maybe Wedding Singer. Wedding Singer was pretty good. But.
One of his movies
I like 50 First Dates. I thought that was cute. But
one of his movies is what we talked about before, about what bad movie do you still watch is like a guilty pleasure. Whenever it's on and I channel surf and I hit it, I will watch Mr. Deeds. That's my guilty pleasure. Adam Sandler's Mr. Deeds is my guilty pleasure.
Really?
Happy Gilmore.
Well,
Happy's a funny movie.
The writers in it, I mean.
Billy Madison, I laughed my ass off at that one.
You can never go wrong with Winona Ryder. I mean, come
Absolutely
on.
not. Absolutely not. Never.
Unless it's in Bram Stoker's Dracula, which, by the way, is my favorite film of all time. But she and Keanu Reeves, they reckon. But everybody else is on point. Perfect.
Now, I didn't
Speaking
think
of Keanu,
I didn't think Reeves was. I don't think that was his worst movie by far.
Well, no, but
I
he
just
can't do an English accent.
Constantine for the first time. Whoa,
Well, that's wrong. That's wrong in every way possible. That movie is wrong.
Like,
It's too much of everything.
It's
too much of everything all the time.
Constantine.
Oh, I didn't see that because
that's not even the Constantine movie. That's what pisses me off about it. Is that it's just Keanu Reeves playing it's not Constantine. That's not the comic book character.
That's why I didn't go see it.
It's terrible. Terrible movie.
Anyone but Sting being Constantine ain't Constantine.
Oh, I don't know. The guy who does it on Flash.
No, you're right. Yeah, the guy who does it on the TV.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, he's good. He's
pretty
good.
damn good at it.
Yes, he is. Yes,
he should do a film.
Yes, he should. Yeah.
But
yeah,
Keanu Reeves? No, He was all wrong on that. Just all wrong. It was like watching the 1952 version of James Bond. It was like, no, this is all wrong. Jimmy Bond from the U.S.? No.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, God. It was a live TV event they had in 1952.
It was a Casino Royale.
Was that Casino Royale?
Yeah. Freaking terrible.
George something. No,
George
Nelson.
No,
Nelson something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn something.
Awful situation there with that. He wasn't even British. Just like Keanu Reeves wasn't even British for this because Constantine's a Brit.
Oh, see, I know nothing about the source material.
And a
Lazenby.
blonde.
My husband just was like,
Lazenby?
No, that was on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh,
I do like that movie though.
That is canon.
Yeah. Sadly.
Yeah.
Tracy Bond, his wife.
Oh, but it was Diana Rigg,
Yeah.
you know.
It's so sad though.
And Telly Savalas was a pretty good Blofeld, I thought.
It was okay.
You know,
Who loves you, kid?
Exactly.
Who loves
Exactly.
your Bond?
My husband has this theory that your favorite Bond movie is typically from the era that you were introduced to Bond. So like,
I would say that's
like the
generally
year-
the case.
so
That's
like for
pretty
me,
true.
I'm partial to the Pierce Brosnans, but I do enjoy like the older
Right.
ones too.
Now, see, I'm a Roger Moore guy because that's who was playing it when I was young.
He was
And
always
going to
Bond in my
movies.
mind. Always.
And for my parents, Sean Connery will always be the only Bond. So, and I think Andrew's absolutely right on that.
Well, see, the first Bond I ever saw was Sean Connery in Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh, sure.
With my dad and my older brother. So it wasn't Connery's best. However, the next movie, Live and Let Die, with Roger Moore, that was the one I could see by myself over and over again if I wanted to. And I saw it at least 3 times in the theater.
I saw that one. That was one of my first Bond movies I ever saw was Live and Let Die, and it was outstanding. And I did not believe that anyone could be a better James Bond than Roger Moore until the new guy.
Right.
Until, what the hell is his name?
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
No, not Daniel Craig. Not Daniel Craig. He only did 3. Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton, I didn't like him.
Dalton was
He was
before
too-
Craig, though.
Long before
Well,
Craig.
Dalton was before Brosnan.
Yeah.
Dalton was immediately after Moore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those movies are too
I thought you were
gritty.
talking
They're
about
too
now,
gritty for
present
me.
day.
Yeah. No, I think Daniel Craig is the best goddamn James Bond I have seen. And that includes Connery, and I'm a huge Sean Connery fan. But I think that Daniel Craig is the best damn Bond I've ever seen.
I didn't like the Casino Royale. I didn't like it.
Really?
But I do like Skyfall. I like Skyfall a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. I haven't seen any of the Roger Craig ones.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Sorry, Roger Craig was a manager for the San Francisco Giants in the 80s. I haven't seen any of the ones with him because the last Bond movie I saw was the one with Denise Richards.
Oh, The World Is Not Enough.
It was so terrible that I just stopped watching Bond movies.
No.
That was
that was the one where he had the vibrating ring that he put on the sheet of ice and fell through, or glass or whatever.
Christmas. And I thought Christmas only came once a year.
Yeah.
It started going downhill right around there, but seriously, Daniel Craig is unbelievable.
That's what I hear. I've heard that. So,
he's the best damn Bond I have ever seen. And I'm sad to see him go after this next one.
I didn't like the one about, there was 2 I didn't like. I didn't like the one about water.
Yeah, that one was not a great one.
And then the one about the network of
confusing
criminals.
him with Kevin Costner and Waterworld?
No. It was a whole Bond film about like water rights.
Yeah.
And it was super, super short. And it was
the second one.
Yeah. And then the other one that was the weird like octopus with all the criminal network.
Yeah.
Spectre?
Spectre, that's been around forever, yeah.
A goddamn good movie, I thought. I loved that one.
That was the first Craig I saw was Spectre.
Yeah.
I didn't see the Daniel Craig ones when they came out because I was living in a house where the only movies we saw were Twilight movies or Harry Potter movies or Disney Pixar movies in those years. So the first Craig I saw was Spectre.
I've seen every James Bond since GoldenEye in the theater when it came out.
Huh.
And
I've seen most of them, not all of them.
So good.
My mom is hilarious. She hates action movies, absolutely, like will not watch anything action, refuses to watch Harry Potter, loves James Bond. And like she will be the first day it's out, she's in the seat at the theater, like watching a James Bond movie.
Oh yeah.
Every time.
Would you consider Harry Potter an action movie?
Well, no, but she won't watch it. I don't know. I don't know if it's the magic or the action, or she's not a real big fan of that genre. Or like with a big son, she doesn't like superhero films that much, but like she will sit and like rapt attention to a James Bond movie.
I'm looking forward to No Time to Die. That is going to be so good.
Yeah.
I am. Like I said, I hate to see the man go, because damn, he nailed it. If you've read any of Ian Fleming's works, he's Daniel Craig.
Yes,
I mean, that's who he is. I mean, obviously there are people who have problems with him being a blonde instead of having the dark hair. That's one small thing I could see. But God, his demeanor, his everything, he is a stone cold killer.
Which is kind of the same thing as saying that Daniel Craig is Ian Fleming, since the character is sort of a wish fulfillment for Ian Fleming, who was of course in the Secret Service during World War II. But
sure.
Right.
I mean, but I mean, Bond is a stone cold killer in the novels.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the whole thing with the 00 License to Kill, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he borders on sociopathic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's absolutely ice in his veins. And when you get to Roger Moore, it becomes really, really funny, because that's where the one-liners get really out of control, and the gadgets get out of control in those.
Here's the thing, though, and this is getting deep. You ready to get deep for a minute?
Yeah.
I don't know, like with James Bond, it seems like it's so entrenched in the whole Cold War mentality. And so, like, when you move James Bond out of the Cold War era, does it lose anything? And like reinventing the character to move out of that whole idea?
You don't have delineated good and bad guys as much, it seems like, I think, to your point.
Watch GoldenEye, because they actually touch on that.
I love GoldenEye. It's one of my favorites.
They talk about him being a relic of the Cold War and how he has to try and reinvent himself in the world now that there's no Soviet threat. The red threat's over, more or less.
Right.
So every movie after that, it gets a little more interesting, quite honestly, because now he's not just going after the Russians. Now he's got other bigger problems to deal with, and they become more interesting, in my opinion, I think.
Yeah.
Now that he's not a Cold War thing, I think he's a better character.
Yeah. Well, they tried to create, in the 90s or maybe the very early 2000s, they tried to create a franchise that was blatantly, and they even said so, an updated Bond movie, XXX.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, there haven't been 25 XXX movies.
No.
Was that Vin Diesel?
Yeah, Vin Diesel.
And then Ice Cube, I think it was.
Yeah.
Ice Cube took over for the second one. Yeah, they were okay, but they sure as hell weren't James Bond. Because the thing about James Bond is that it's not just the action; it is the lifestyle. It's the fact that he's got an Aston Martin. It's the fact that he's got Rolex or Tag Heuer or something. He's the martinis, the tuxedo,
the locations,
and the attitude, the swagger of it all.
Oh
yeah.
The shore of himselfness.
Yeah. That's absolutely what makes Bond Bond, and that's why I worry that if they ever get into the business of changing it up too much, that it's going to be, like I was worried when Daniel Craig came on. I was worried that they were going to go too damn serious. I was like, oh my God, because the only Bond I knew was a wisecracking dude who he'd get out of any situation with a couple of punches and it was over. Whereas the Daniel Craig version, he's got blood on him and he's actually like really hurting people and stuff. And I was worried that it wasn't going to work out, but then I watched it and went, oh shit, no, this is way better.
That's the trend toward grim dark these days.
Yeah.
Everything has to be grim dark, gritty.
Yeah, but Bond, it works though. For Bond, it actually makes sense because those were the novels.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, was it Peter Gunn? I would love to see a remake of that TV show.
Peter Gunn,
Love to see a Peter Gunn remake because he hung out at the docks and You know,
remember the old arcade game Spy Hunter?
Yeah, with the song in it. Yeah,
Peter Gunn theme.
Yeah. Blake Edwards.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Henry Mancini. Yeah.
Henry Mancini. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, Eric, why don't you give us one more, and we'll call her an episode, because this one has just been us talking. So,
speaking of smut, Grandpa, who won romp with 2 hookers in Get Your Grandpa Laid radio contest, choked to death as he hurried his dinner on way to have threesome.
You poor man, can you imagine walking up to the gates of heaven, and he's like standing there, St. Peter's looking at him, he's like, well, you almost did it, you were that close, buddy. He's like, no!
And I wish I don't have a story on this one. All I have is a headline. But
you know what the kicker is? He's behind in line the guy who hit a guy with a meatball sub.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh,
we lost Angel.
We lost Angel. She was saying that her phone needed to be charged, so she may not.
Oh, yes. Oh, well.
It's enough for her to leave.
Oh, God, can you imagine that moment, though? Everything's fine, and then all of a sudden you're surrounded by clouds and pearly gates, and you go, no, wait a minute, no! That
boy,
close,
I've
buddy.
been lonely since Martha took her trip back home.
Oh, God.
Soon I'll have some company.
Oh, my God. Gets so excited at dinner that he chokes to death.
That was fucked up.
Oh, God. Rest in peace, Grandpa. Oh, that's a shame. What a shame. Does it say what he had for dinner?
No. Unfortunately, all I have is the headline.
Poor man. What was his last meal?
No kidding.
What do you choke on your way
Well,
out?
I'm thinking it's got to be steak, right?
Steak or ham or something.
Well, yeah, what do you make yourself? Like, well, maybe he had to, like, carbo load because of what he was about to do.
Yeah.
Big bowl of pasta.
Yeah, how do you prepare? How does one prepare for these things?
Choked on a baguette.
When you're that age anyway, and you're like, oh, I got to get going. They're like, Grandpa, where are you off to? Don't you worry about it.
Yes, never you mind.
That's what he had for dinner. He had 30 Viagras. That's why he died.
Oh, it's just a bottle at the dinner table. He's like, Grandpa, what the hell? No, I got this.
He had an erection that lasted the rest of his life.
Yeah, pretty much. They had to get him a new coffin and everything.
Those diamond shapes went down his throat and connected like a Tetris and clogged his throat.
I can imagine the coroner, when he got the story, he probably took his hat off and was like, oh, man, oh, no. Oh. You know, I know I would. If I were the coroner, I'd be like, what happened here? Oh, no. Well, he had meatloaf. Well, at least he went having meatloaf, you know? Angel's back here in just a second. She's rejoining us for this conversation. Hey. We're going to get her take on it.
Hey, honey.
So, now that she's back, she's muted, though. So, Angel.
No, my phone was plugged in, and it didn't beep at me, and it just went off.
So, Angel, did you hear the story before you left?
What?
More
the news story.
More
You're going to love this.
Angel.
Grandpa smut.
You're going to love this. Eric,
I love it.
Retell it.
You're going to love this, Grandpa smut.
So,
that's right.
A grandpa who won a night with 2 hookers in a Get Your Grandpa Laid radio contest choked to death hurrying his dinner on the way to the threesome.
Too excited.
Wait.
That is amazing!
This is just like that Disney commercial I remember when I was a kid.
Oh, exactly.
Where the kids can't sleep, and they're like, we're too excited to sleep. And it's like, there's never been a better time to make a dream come true.
There's a tagline for his. Oh, my God. I can't imagine the funeral.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing.
That's on his headstone.
Yeah, oh yeah. He was this close, is what the tombstone said. He was this close. Almost.
Oh my gosh.
I
Can
wanna-
you imagine having to explain that at the church? His body's lying right there. You're up giving the eulogy, and you're like, well, he was on his way to a party.
Well, they can't close the coffin cover.
So
Can you imagine the DJs though? Like how they must feel about that.
Oh yeah, God, being one of the DJs that had the contest, they had to come back on Monday morning and be like, okay, folks, we have some bad news.
Yeah.
and I'm trying to figure out where the hell how do you run a radio contest like that? You got to figure it's Nevada, right?
No, it's either Nevada
Somewhere
or
where it's legal.
Poland.
Hmm?
Poland or Germany or something.
Oh right, yeah. It didn't say the picture that they had. It looked the guy was wearing an Illinois University of Illinois jacket, but that could have been a stock picture. There's no way to know whether that's an actual picture.
God, I would not want to be one of his relatives at the funeral to have people come up to you and be like, "I'm so sorry that he's gone. Do you know what happened?" No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It was
He
Meatloaf.
He choked to death. That's all.
He choked to death. It was
terrible.
But what was he eating when he choked to death?
We don't know.
It was natural causes.
Yeah.
Natural causes.
Yeah. Well, it certainly wasn't his prize, which is a good
Sounds fishy to
segue.
me.
It's a good segue there as well. We have got our next show coming up here on August 21st. It is called 9 and NUMB After Dark. We're back at it with the adult stuff, or as Louisa would call it, a little bit spicy. Going to be a little spicy. So for those of you that are watching right now, we've got a premiere for you here. This is the trailer for the next 9 and NUMB show called After Dark. Take a look at it here.
The train to dreamland has left the station. The kids are all nestled in their beds, dreaming sweetly of chocolates and puppies or whatever shit kids dream about. It's time for Mom and Dad to let their hair down. Crack open a cold one, maybe do some body shots. Hell, you may even end up with a new kid before this is over. But that's none of our business, of course.
And there it is, guys, your trailer for the next show that we've got coming up. So, August 21st, 9 p.m., put the kids to bed. We're finally back at the grown-up stuff. And by the way, you asked for this, okay? That's your warning. The audience asked for this, okay?
Popular demand.
By popular demand. So check us out here on Facebook. Actually on YouTube here, but then check us out on Facebook when we're doing the show August 21st, 9 p.m. And so I will say thank you guys for joining us today. We'll be doing another one of these very soon. And have yourselves a fantastic evening.